Make myself look pretty. Oh, I'm recording. Now you know the secret what goes on behind the camera. Hello, shalom. This is Dan Baumet again. It's been a little while since I've done recording. Number one, got blocked out. Been doing a lot of issues, fighting with my computer's sound equipment, everything else. Still going at it, but we've got enough now that we can record again. So it's been a while. This is the second in a series which have been written out in various locations, called Know Your Enemy. This is part 2, Amorite. What does it mean to be an Amorite? Amorite comes from the Hebrew word Amar, which means to utter or to say, alright? The name itself implies the desire or that they wanted to have their name uttered. Amorites are very vain, very self-centered people. They like to hear their name being echoed. They like to be men of fame, men of renown. Or to be fame seekers. Every dictator on this planet, every person who's subjugated and imposed his will or power over top of people, has been kind of an Amorite. They've risen up, subjugated, stamped their name. Who do you remember more of in history? King George? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 20th? Or one name in infamy? Who do you remember more? The chiefs that once reigned and ruled over top of France, Britain, and the various tribes? Do you remember any of the Italian leaders, the members of the Senate? Or does the title Czar, Kaiser, or Caesar, all the same word, just different enunciation of the word? What comes to your mind? Who do we remember more? Who can you tell more about historically? A man named Julius or a man named Abraham Lincoln? Amorites stamped their memories into our minds almost eternally. After their death, people are still talking about what kind of man, what kind of person they are. Even in the news, we hear more about people like Obama, about Saddam Hussein. We hear more about Putin than we do the other leaders of this world. Amorite also means to be a mountain people. Mountains, and that doesn't mean living in the mountains. It simply means like a mountain, to live like a mountain. And we look at the mountain, for us who have seen them, particularly when you've been in Rockies, is a good example, or amongst the Alps, Swiss Alps, or any of the alpine regions. The first thing that comes to your mind is how grandeur they are. You can see them from miles off. I can be outside of Calgary, still about 200 to 300 miles away from the mountains, and still see their peaks. We see the beauty of their colors. We see the majesty of their caps, their high gowns, their tapestry of the trees, and the colors that envelop them in spring, summer, fall. As we approach, we are overcome and overwhelmed by their might, their size, and their power. As we travel through them, we see how valleys have been gorged, shaped. Erosion rivers are even dictated as to where they will and will not flow by a placement of a mountain in a particular area. You can tell through history that it has diverted even the very waters that flow through them. Mountains are those in our minds which dominate over top of our valleys. And just as mountains rule over top of valleys, these amorous people, these Amorite people, like to rule over top of us. They don't ask us what we want to do. They tell us what to do. You will do this, and you will do it my way. We all know people who like to live that way. It's my way or the highway. We know churches that are structured around Amorite people. We know congregations and leaders and elders that are Amorite people. Don't know many people who don't rise to fame, who don't seek the lights, who don't say, "Follow me," don't say, "Do as I do." They are not dictatorial. These are true elders. They have compassion and concern for the people. We don't sit there and judge people. "Well, you're going to hell. You're a sinner. I don't think you're right." We simply say what we think you are doing is wrong. Can we help you and assist in changing? If you want change, we know the way, the path to the truth. Our guidance is not to exalt our names above ourselves. Our guidance is simply to be one, to be able to help restore your faith to the Messiah and following him, to follow the paths and edicts of the Elohim. People say that our God is one who dictates, who commands service, who commands us to do. On the contrary, he has laid out a path and a pattern in what we should do. But he says himself throughout the Bible, "Choose you today who you will serve." Service because of man never works in either Judaism or through Christianity. It never has been a principle to truly messianic. Rather, following is a matter of choice, of growth, for a hunger to do better in your life, to change the course and pattern of your history and make a stamp for the future, to live for a hope of salvation and have the faith that all things will be restored, and that somehow, in spite of ourselves, we shall make it. These people or spirits love to establish an impressing and seemingly immovable presence in our lives. Controlling spirits are very much prevalent in the world. Controlling spirits you can see in amongst the Arab people and the Islamic faith. Bow down and worship with us. We saw it in the book of Daniel, when Daniel was told, "You will only pray to the king." And Daniel continues in his tradition of praying 3 times a day, early in the morning, once at lunch, and again in the evening at the setting of the sun. Many preachers have talked about how Daniel's fervent prayer 3 times a day showed his dedication to prayer. On the contrary, he valued his choice and freedom. In the world today, with mankind looks to seek ways and to implement ways to restrict our freedom, let us not go after them. Be like the Hebrew children who stand there when they say, "You will bow down to the statue. You will worship it." We have to be one in a religion. We have to be one in our faith. Let us remember the edict of our Father. We will have no idols before us. We will not worship a man. We will not follow and kiss his ring. We will not stoop and bow at his feet. No pope, no great master, no king other than Elohim rules in our lives. As an elder in your community, as the appointed outbaked hold from the first of my birth, even in my name, the word is echoed. Dan Ani El. Daniel. To find favor of Elohim is my heart. To receive the favor of Elohim has been my joy. I don't think myself any better than anybody else is. On the contrary, I think myself the least. I struggle with my own ideas, my own mind, my own brain, my own flesh. But I pray daily that I am delivered from it and fight the demons that sometimes attack me. Keep yourselves pure. Keep yourselves holy. But do not flee from the council of elders. Reestablish them in your life. In another video and another time, I'm working on researching the history and reestablishing of the Beit Din, the Beit Dins, and of the Sanhedrin itself. Until next time, this is Rabbi Daniel. Shalom Aleichem.